Hello. Arthritis. We all know it's so complicated to get a diet right because we're all individuals and we all have different triggers. And one of the big controversial things that we're hearing a lot about lately is nightshade vegetables. Things like aubergines, peppers, tomatoes, potatoes, and there's a whole list of them. Now, the thing is, I can never do a diet. I'm cooking here for myself. These things are working great for me, and I have nightshades have absolutely no impact on my arthritis ever. I can eat potatoes, I can eat tomatoes, aubergines, all of nightshades. No impact. That doesn't mean it won't be an impact for somebody else. Again, it's always a case of trying to figure out your own triggers. But it's an interesting and controversial thing. But the way I look at it is, as well, when you look at vegetables, such as a tomato, you have to balance that sometimes to a degree as well. If it's not a serious trigger for yourself, but for me, the vegetables such as tomatoes, they're very high in antioxidants such as lycopene, vitamin C. They have multiple nutrients, minerals in them, and they're forming essential and critical parts of some of the best anti-arthritis and anti-inflammatory diets there are, such as the Mediterranean diets. The potatoes, I think its selenium can increase with potatoes, and that can cause problems. In particular when potatoes are green, but nobody should ever eat any green potato anyway, because that's why with a potato plant you never eat the leaves, because they're quite toxic. They have very high levels of various chemicals. So the potatoes, if there's green, cut it out. But potatoes, again, for me, they're a highly nutritious vegetable. They're, especially when you're eating and consuming them with the skin, where you have a large amount of vitamin C. With this dish, I'm going to bake it. I'm going to use the air fryer, which I think is a great technique for baking potatoes, gives lovely texture and so on. I'm going to use a nice piece of hake. And here's another one, omega-6 oils. So people say you should be avoiding omega-6 oils. These tend to be the seed oils, such as sunflower seed, rapeseed oils, and the like. But omega-6 is a very important oil in our body. The problem is the ultra-refined oils. So the ultra-refined soy oils and so on, which only give fat and are quite inflammatory. But if you eat a sunflower seed, yes, it might be high in omega-6, but again, they're giving minerals, they're giving so much more, such as magnesium, they're giving calcium, there's a whole array of vitamins and nutrients you're getting from those. And yes, your body knows how to handle those. And it's not about one omega-3 fatty acid is good, one is bad, because inflammation is an important process in our body. It's when it starts running out of control, that's when we have problems. And the bioavailability and the way our body deals with whole foods, and taking omega-6 fatty acids from the likes of a whole sunflower seed, is very, very different to the way it deals with an omega-3 or omega-6 fatty acid, I should say, from a deep fried food, which is denatured oil. It's high temperature and it can create a whole array of problems. But whole foods, which are full of fiber and the like, we need omega-6, we need omega-9, we need omega-3. A good diet is a balanced diet. There's no such thing as a bad food. But again, with arthritis, we have to figure out, and I've had to figure out what works for me. These recipes work very, very well for me. They mightn't work for you, which is why I've tried to put together a whole array of dishes, and they can act as a template. So you can take out the tomatoes, you could replace them with just a simple basil pesto or something like that. Don't be afraid to experiment. But again, it's trying to find out what works for you. And I'm going to get on and I'm going to cook these. I'm going to pop these into the air fryer first, the potatoes, and I'm going to get on and cook this very, very simple dish. My pesto then, I'm going to add my garlic into a mortar and pestle. You could use a food processor if you preferred, but again, I prefer the mortar and pestle because I think it gives a better flavor. Garlic, pinch of salt. I'm just going to crush that garlic. Next, sunflower seeds. Next, my tomato. And finally, my olive oil. And our little sauce is really that simple. And with my pesto made, and my potatoes on baking, for my fish, little tiny drop of oil into a pan. My fish, I'm going to toss it skin side down. Fish, a little pinch of salt and pepper. And allow that to cook on one side for about 2 minutes. After about 2 minutes, on a moderate low heat, I'm just going to take my fish, flick it over, and now I'm just going to add my Pak Choi. And I had a few extra tomatoes that I didn't use, so I'm just going to put those in there as well. Now into the pan, I'm going to add about 2 to 3 tablespoons of water. Pinch of salt on the Pak Choi. And cover that up. Nice tight fitting lid. Covered, allow it to cook and build up heat in the pan for about 2 to 3 minutes. After 2 to 3 minutes, turn the heat completely off in your pan, but do not remove the lid, and allow the residual heat that's trapped in the pan complete the cookery. So don't open your pan and let it stand for about between 5 to maybe up to 7 minutes. And when you open this, everything should be perfectly cooked. Having waited about 6 minutes, as you can see now, with just allowing that residual heat in the pan to finish my cookery, all of my Pak Choi, my fish, and as you can see, my fish is just beautifully flaking apart, but not overcooked. A few tomatoes there, and that's all ready now. So to serve, let's get my plate. I'm going to take my 2 potatoes, my 2 baked potatoes, which I baked in the air fryer. You could just as easily bake in the oven. Let's open these guys up. Kind of let them flour a little bit out. Kind of push them down a little bit just to get that lovely crumbly potato out. Next, my greens. So there's my nice Pak Choi or Bok Choy. My piece of fish. Some cherry tomatoes to garnish. And here's my nice little pesto, my little tomato pesto, which I made a little earlier. And I'm just going to liberally throw that around the whole dish. Just to finish it all off. Good finish with a little drizzle of olive oil. And that's it. A simple little baked potato with some nice fish and a nice fresh tomato pesto. Enjoy it.